Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to continue on today with a special selection, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. If you'd like to submit your own special selection, you can do so in the link in the description. Today's special selection comes at us from Andrew. The next song I think you should know is Royal Coda, Even If. I've got suggestions for days in case you know it. It's a fresh one. Alright, it is a fresh one actually. It came out in December of 2021. And yeah, let's dive into it. See what's going on. That is groovy. I love the way these two guitars are playing off of each other. Oh, I love that cymbal thing going on too. Between that and these little arpeggiated runs in the two guitars, there's this real feeling of timelessness. It's really hard to find the beat other than that bass kick that finally came in. There's a lot of elements to this song that should make it feel very disjointed, but in fact it's all coming together for some reason and I'm not quite sure yet. That bass line. Drums are killing it, bass is killing it. Everybody's just so good. Getting real playful. Yeah, really fun rhythmic idea showing up on the ride cymbal there at the ends. Very cool. Just a hair too short, no? Like seriously, man, it feels like the song went by so fast. We had verse, chorus, outro. and I would definitely take that over a third chorus coming in at the end that doesn't do anything new, which, I've expressed enough in the past how much I think a final chorus should have more to it. I don't want to go into that tirade again, especially since this band didn't do that. Um, but not having a bridge there and sort of repeating the pre-chorus, I think it was. Maybe this was the post-chorus. Maybe it just extended it out. The outro was a part of the song we had heard earlier. Just not sure what part it was. Um, yeah, it was the post chorus. Okay, so we had verse, chorus, post chorus, verse, chorus, post chorus extended into a fade out, and it makes the song feel short to me because we only have a single loop of this one repetition, and the song just kind of goes by to blast. Like, it's 4 minute song. Like, that's not a short song. As far as I'm concerned, modern day short songs are 2.5 to 3 minutes. So we're a little over that. We're at like 150% there. But it's not, it feels like there's so much more. Maybe it's just because I want to be in this moment for longer. They really got my attention here. Um, but it felt like it went by at a blur. And some of that I'm going to talk about too is their rhythmic devices and how the song is crafted to emphasize this momentum. Like, the song is just always pushing forward. In fact, let's start with that, right? Let's start with the rhythmic aspects here since I've already talked about them. So, the song is composed of a lot of quickly moving parts from top to bottom. We can look at the lyrics. He crams a ton of syllables into a small amount of time. In fact, I'm looking at the lyrics right here, and yeah, the first verse has 60 words in it. And you can even hear it in his singing. He does have melodic flow as far as picking notes for each syllable or each word, but there's also a very strong rhythmic component, and there's a couple of sections where he just kind of runs a bunch of syllables together, several words, instead of putting space between them, just speaks them, ridiculously fast and moves through them in more of a rhythmic approach than a melodic approach. So the vocals have a ton of forward momentum. Feels like they're just really pushing to get to the next point. The two guitar lines are just filled with these quick flourishes, whether it's a quick arpeggiation, a 5 note arpeggiation that takes a beat and a half tops, just doing these really fast strums, or having those quick sort of man, like staccato attacks, right? They'll do like 3 or 4 staccato attacks, and then they'll be like eighth notes, and then do like a quarter note hold, and then 4 or 5 of those eighth notes again, and then hold for a quarter. And those quarters feel like they have so much weight, even though it's not exactly a long note to be played. It still feels so long against everything else that's being played, because a lot of a lot of the length of the rest of the notes are eighth and 16th notes. There's a lot of emphasis on technicality here, and putting as many notes as they can into a small space. We can even see this in the drums with all of the embellishing ideas, usually in the cymbals. We have some really fun, fast ideas going on in there. And it's not a ridiculously fast tempo. What is it, like? Yeah, what is that, 135 maybe? 140 tops? This is not a ridiculously fast tempo, but what it is putting a lot of 16th and 8th notes in here and having fast sections in a more chill tempo, which creates this clash where the song feels like it's constantly driving towards a direction, but the tempo allows you to just kind of, move your body slowly. It is you kind of get into this chill groove, and I think it works well with the atmosphere. There is this drive to get to the end of the song, to get to the next section, whatever. There's this momentum forward, but the atmosphere of the song also is kind of chill and laid back, and you can just kind of groove with it. And I think it works well for the sound that they're creating. It is intense but laid back. simultaneously, and a lot of that's coming from this rhythmic idea of putting a ton of notes together in a slower tempo. Interestingly, it all sort of comes together too. When you're putting this many notes together, you're going to have moments of clashing. And I don't think that the song is completely devoid of instability in this, but due to the speed of all the notes, especially when we're looking at the pitched notes, so our vocals, our bass, our two guitars panned to the side, there's going to be some notes that do not work too well together, but the fact that they come and go so quickly means that by the time you might actually hear the dissonance, they've already moved on to something more consonant, something more appealing, and you've already forgotten about it, and it feels more like spice. You don't specifically taste the spices in your soup, but having the spices present flavor it, and without them it would be bland. And that's what's happening here. They're introducing these moments of dissonance so that it adds this sort of extra zest or spice to the overall sonic property of the music, which makes it feel unique, feel like it's got a little bit of extra something in it. You don't know what it is. It's usually those little moments, but because the overall tone is constant and that things mostly work together, you don't really notice the dissonant sections, and they add that extra touch to the sound without you ever getting to the point where like, oh, things sound out of tune, or that part didn't work too well. They're introducing a lot of dissonance here. It's starting to sound disconnected. None of that really happens because they hide it. It comes and goes so quickly that it's not a part of the song itself. You're not focusing on it. It's adding its texture to the song. So yeah, like that stuff's just all over the place, even in the slowest parts, right? Or I should say the chillest parts. I don't think there were any tempo changes. When we get to the part where it's the two guitars doing like that 4-note strum, and then the drums are just doing a bass kick with like the little cymbal ride, like the 4 notes there. There's really not a lot going on. We have these small isolated runs, and that's kind of about it. The bass is providing a fairly simple bass line at this point, not really doing anything technical. But because these runs are, first of all, being bounced around, right? We have the cymbal idea being done on the downbeats. The guitars are kind of doing theirs on different beats, and it creates this sort of echoey feel throughout, and it fills it up more than would be expected by the sparse elements that are present. The bass is creating a foundational idea, laying down some lower end notes to fill out the lower end of the sound sphere, and we have this bouncing idea around here with these 16th notes, and it fills it up and makes it feel larger than it is just because of the technical aspect of it. If they had played these as chords rather than strummed each note as a 16th note, it would not feel as large. There's more attacks here. And like I said, that technical aspect drives the song forward, even though it is a rather chill section. And if they were just playing chords, it would not have that drive. It would feel like it's stationary and absorbing this atmosphere, trying its best to not move into the next section, which they would probably bring back the speed, the technical aspect of it. And that drive might have helped as well if they were telling a different story. When we dive fully into the lyrics, I'm hoping to see that maybe there is something in here about having constant forward momentum and not being able to control it, or not wanting to control it, just wanting to have this single track mind idea. And the other thing that I really want to talk about is the bass, right? So I love this bass. First of all, nice warm round tone. Second of all, phenomenal bass lines. A lot of the time it is sort of filling out this lower end section and providing more of a simple bass line, not necessarily just staying on a root tone and repeatedly playing it. They are walking a bass line in more of a jazzy style, but they are mostly adhering to a sort of syncopated idea, utilizing the chord progression, laying down the foundation of the song. Now, this syncopation actually is the driving force of what I think is the groove, where everybody else is kind of entering into these brighter, noisier elements, playing a ton of notes, kind of dancing around each other. Sometimes the two guitars are playing at the same time, sometimes they're alternating, sometimes they're overlapping at the beginning and end of an idea, so it feels like a baton pass. Um, but there's a lot of chaos going around in the rhythmic aspects of the three leads, your vocals and your two guitars, and then your drummer. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Your bassist is holding all of that down and providing a nice syncopated element against the time signature. And that's where the groove comes in. You usually have the bass kick or one of the cymbals providing that 4/4 feel in the drum kit, and then you have the bass dancing around it with some syncopated ideas that's creating the grooviness, and that juxtaposes so hard with the chaotic elements that it drives both of these separately and allows you to hear both of them as two different identities, two sides of the same coin kind of vibe, where you're getting the groove from the bass, but you're also getting the technical aspect on top. So it can be extremely complicated in one aspect of the song, but you can still find that rhythm and groove along with it. Move your body, nod your head, whatever you want to do. And I think that's the secret sauce to this. I should probably get away from these food analogies, but it is. I think without the bass, if the bass had gone into the chaotic elements as well, or if the bass was just not as present, or if the bass had done quarter note on the root tone of the chord, I don't think it would have been as strong as a song. It would have been missing that chord juxtaposition of creating that groove against the chaos, because it lines in so much with this clashing concept that works thematically and musically. We have a song that is constantly driving forward at a more chill pace, and we have a song that is getting more chaotic that is still groovy. It seems to be a song about being at ends with something and, trying to find a middle ground between two opposing ideas. And it exists in almost every aspect of the track. I do wish, though, I really do, that the song had something more to it. I think that's my biggest issue with the track is that it feels so short, and it's a simple loop. The second half of the song is identical to the first half. Uh, just something. Give me another section. Give me a bridge. Make a new outro. I would have been down for any of that. However, speaking of new, I do also think that the second verse had a different guitar part than the first verse, in that both the guitars were doing different things than they were the first time. However, they're both very dense technical sections, so it could have been that I was just completely forgot what was going on the first time, that they were doing the same thing, but given the depth of it, I just wasn't seeing the patterns between them. But at least to me, when I was listening to it, I felt like it was a completely new guitar section for that verse, which did help a little bit in keeping the song going on fresh. Um, but yeah, that's really my only oversight, my only issue. And when I listen to more Royal Coda, which I will listen to more Royal Coda, that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to and hoping I find in other of their songs. Maybe something that's not a single, because I've mentioned in the past that singles kind of have politics to them. Singles have a job to do other than to exist as art. Their task is to bring in views, right? You make your single for radio play or to make a music video to post on YouTube or whatever. This is what you're going to be drawing people into, whether it's old fans trying to get them prepped for a new album. Maybe you have a brand new sound, you need to present that. Or you're trying to reach out to new fans. Sometimes that means dumbing down your music a little bit or trying to be a little bit more palatable to bring in new people to check out the rest of your album, which might be a bit more abrasive. There are many reasons why a single may not be entirely indicative of a musical style. It has a job to do other than be art. And it might be possible that the song sounds technical in a lot of aspects other than the structure, because this is supposed to be their palatable onboarding song to bring people into their band. I don't know how new they are. This could be a debut as well, and they really decided to go overboard on the palatability, where the rest of the album is more technical, especially on the structural level. I don't know, but I'm kind of hoping that there is more meat on the bones, so to speak, in the rest of the album. But the core idea here, the core foundational elements of the technicality, the groovy bass, the infectious vocals. I mean, it is a rapid fire display of syllables, but it is catchy. Like, I'm going to be humming this along, even though I have no idea what the words are. There's a lot of words. I'm going to be humming it all day. Like, it's going to be stuck in my head. Easy. Now, the lyrics are interesting because it seems to be, I don't know. There definitely seems to be an element of a relationship in here, and possibly the duality of a relationship, in that at one point it will be, fresh and comforting. It'll have love, but at the other side of the coin, these feelings can be fleeting, and by the end of a relationship, it could be, the opposite of these ideas. It's not comfortable. There could be hatred or at least disdain, and maybe you can feel lonely even within it. And there's also a lot of allusions to time, and the idea that time is a constant that we fight against. And I'm not sure if that's time in the big picture or time looking at just the relationship, and that the beginning and the end are, inevitabilities, right? We will have the beginning, we will have that brand new feeling, the puppy love moment. But then, there's also going to be the end, possibly, that either, one of us will die or the relationship itself will die. And we're going to have to deal with that as well. And they use a lot of really interesting vocabulary in here to talk about this. The song starts with tick tock tick ticking away, right? So the element of time is present right at the beginning. Two sentences later, staring, we hold each other's hands. Nothing in this place is built to last. We're manufactured with a kill switch inside ourselves. And then he says that the present is so selfish. We close our eyes for a moment and it's gone. Like, there's some really, really cool ways to talk about time, but it's also present all throughout this song. And I think it's really interesting also that I felt the song moved too quickly while also playing around with the feeling of movement. The song is simultaneously chill and laid back while having this driving momentum forward, which kind of does remind me of, the first days of a relationship, where the time never seems to slow down, but it also feels like you're in slow motion half the time, right? You're really in this moment, you're really perceptive of what's going on, and you kind of see and feel the minutia of these events, but also you blink and, it's been 6 hours or whatever, that kind of idea. So, yeah, I don't know what the rest of the lyrics are really going on about. The chorus says, even if your love cuts through, will it die or will it last? That one's like two metaphors deep, and I'm kind of, ugh, that was a bit rough there. I don't know if it just seems weird to me, or if that is a really odd, like I said, it's a metaphor in a metaphor. It talks about love cutting, but if your love cuts through what? Or are we talking about the love getting cut through? Yeah, there's some layers to that, and it seems a bit rough to me, but it could just be that, like I've said many times before, I'm not a poetic analyzer. I analyze music. That's what I've been doing. I do okay with words, but that one kind of goes over my head. There is this epicaricacy. That's a cool word. I'm gonna have to look that one up. All right. Anytime I see words in lyrics that I don't know, I'm already impressed, because lyrics tend to dumb down, especially since it's easier to work with shorter words, right? Not only is it easier to rhyme them, but it's also easier to place them in when you're looking at meter and, seeing how many syllables you have and putting them into your syllabic rhythms. So yeah, just to see a big word in there and for it to flow so well. I'm gonna have to go back into the song and listen to where that's put in, because that's always impressive. But yeah, so I don't quite know what's going on here, but I do enjoy the essence of these lyrics, the flowingness of them, the injection of time throughout a lot of it, and finding different ways to do that, and just the floweriness of it, getting those poetic elements in here, whether it's the wider vocabulary or just all of the metaphor that's thrown in. I think it's really well done. I don't have anything to add about how they connect other than this element of time and looking at tempo and the feel of tempo in the song. But I mean, I'm enthralled. I'm going to have to be checking out more of Royal Coda in the future. But this is where you guys come in. This is the end of the video. Those are my thoughts on Royal Coda's Even If. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this, if there's anything I touched on that you have something to extrapolate on, your own perspective or anything like that, or if I completely missed something you want to add to the conversation, go ahead and let me know. I read every comment, so you put it down there, I'm going to read it. Above the comment section is a description box, and there's a link for Linktree, which will take you to this place right here. You can pick up some merch. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel through Patreon. You can submit your own special selections. You can check out what I've been listening to, what I've been playing. You can join the Discord community. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff in there. Go ahead and check it out. Above the description box, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That's it for today. I don't know why I'm crossing my arms. It feels very unnatural for doing these videos. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as usual. We'll be looking at our penultimate hard rock track and our final special selection for the week, since Friday we'll be doing Creator Request. Until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.